Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather with Free Time Solutions.
Welcome to the table. I'm Charlie, your host, and it's me today with no co-host, which is fine and new and fun. But I have a wonderful member of the community here to meet you today, Maureen Favley, who is a coach of varying sorts, and she works with a coaching company. So I'd love for you to meet Maureen. And at this time, I'm just going to have her introduce herself to you.
Yeah, wonderful, Charlie. I'm so happy to be here. I love that introduction because it's right on. I'm a coach of many things, following a long career in advertising and marketing. Now a coach and a trainer and a speaker and a podcast guest with wonderful people like yourself. But they tell you in coaching school to pick a niche, and I never did. And the reason for that is that what I'm doing in these coaching partnerships is relevant whether I'm doing career coaching, leadership coaching, team coaching, is that I'm helping individuals and teams live and work on purpose instead of by accident, to be something that is better than busy. And so whatever that thing is, it's not really a niche, it's more of a purpose statement, so that at the end of the week or month or year, you don't look back and say, what just happened? I want it to happen with intention. I want you to design it so that you can have all the goodies and you can have the wonderful experience I have now, which is living and working according to your why. Why are you here? You set that intention, you put the plan together, you do it. Feels like $1 million.
That's really amazing. I love working with coaches that can look at things from a different point of view, from a different perspective, and really get you thinking and in a different way.
Yeah. So that's it. I want people to be better than busy. And I, in the coaching, the wonderful intimacy there, and also just watching people race through life. I don't want busy for us. I want us to sometimes be settled. Or if you are busy, it's with intention, right? You know exactly why. If you have to race through your day, but you said that in the morning when you woke up, that's what I need to do today, that's fine. But I feel that it gets in the way of so much. We're just cramming it in the 24 hours, and work is expanding, and with that expanse, the joy kind of goes the other way. And so I want us to be better than busy, interrupt some of that, and put some plans together.
I like the idea of not being busy, but living your life with an intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Living it each day with intention, because things happen, things come up, chaos happens, schedules have to change and shift and all these things depending on what we're doing. So having a strict schedule every day, I know it doesn't work for me, right? And sometimes I work earlier in the morning and sometimes I work later in the evening. It kind of depends on the day and how that's structured. So I really like the idea of not just being busy, but being intentional with your time. And this is kind of a season that I'm growing into as we get busier with our business. I have to be more intentional about where I spend my time, how I spend my time, and how I spend my time with my family as well.
Yeah. If I asked you, I'm just so curious, Charlie, as you talk about that, and I like the way you do your life. You don't want all the constraints. You're sort of riding a wave, and the confidence with which you say that is that when things change up, or if I want to do the day a little differently, I got this. So I think that's amazing. If I may ask, when you started, you and your partner, this podcast, what did you want to do? What change did you want?
The mission of the podcast was to, especially post-COVID, so that's when we started, was to find out what our ladies are up to. Find out, because there was such a big shift in what everybody was doing and how everybody was doing it. because of COVID, in response to COVID. And I found that a lot of people stepped up and a lot like kind of stayed stagnant or even sunk down, depending on where they were at in their lives and how the stress and the overwhelm of that whole situation affected everybody. Because I know as a woman and a mother that when all the kids were at home for a year and a half, guess who was at home with them, homeschooling them, because every parent was a homeschool parent during COVID.
Yes.
And that's just the way it had to be. So then I know my business changed because I used to teach yoga. And then I really wanted to get to the heart and soul of what women were up to after COVID and really share that with the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hear in that a curiosity, tremendous compassion and empathy. So just in saying that, if someone came to you and they said, I want to be on your podcast and I want to talk about women really working on being perfect and setting higher standards for themselves and getting more done, you would say, you know what, you're not, got it, right? But you're probably not the ideal guest for this podcast. Our audience is looking for something different. The point of that is because you hear, you know what to say yes and no to. If we don't know what we're doing and we don't have a plan, then the time thieves can take your entire day.
Oh yeah.
People on your podcast that don't fit with your why and what's in your heart. So we get to do the good work that says, why am I here? What do I want to do? What change do I want to make? So that we know what to say no to, where to focus, where to even, last time you had a bad day, I won't take you to that dark place, but last time you had one, I would argue that you were disconnected from your why, or that values that are important to you weren't being honored. And so doing this good work of being intentional also helps us understand, oh, it's just a bad day. I need to come back to center around what's most important. I need to double down on my values. I need to think about what I'm saying yes to and what my 12, 16, 18 hours in the day time is spent. So you can almost imagine that if life can be heavy, it's just each time that we stay intentional around our purpose and our values just gets a little lighter. And that wonderful experience of knowing that you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yes. I actually recently had an experience where I was invited to be part of a networking group, and it was a women's networking group, and I am part of other women's networking groups that are fabulous, but unfortunately the leadership in this particular one let the negativity just happen without saying anything about it, right? So it was a little cliquey, a little, you would hear chatter of, people talking about you behind your back or whatever that looks like, or, the judging and things like that. And I was like, I went to a couple meetings and stuff, and I was like, you know what, this just doesn't fit with my energy. This doesn't fit with where I want to be and how I want to present myself to the world. So I'm okay with not being part of this networking group, even though it could tremendously financially benefit me. Right?
Yes. I love what you just said. And let me share why. It isn't always clear or easy to honor the thing that's important. When we have so you have a value around income, let's say, or you and your listeners, right? You have a value around that, but I also have a value around being around women who empower and lift one another up. Sometimes they can be in conflict. So it's what being a grown-up is about, is choose the one that is most important right now. Our values can change, right? Someone is a new parent or you have a new job, they might shift a little bit. I may have a really strong value around spending time with my girlfriend 7 nights a week. But if I've just had a baby, I may need to relook at that because I have a new value called consistent love and affection for my child, raising this child, making sure they're okay. So it's okay if they're in conflict, but knowing that you're just going to choose one, right? You're just going to choose one. but this was pre-pandemic, but I started a mom's group in my community. I was new and I didn't know anyone. And I have strong value around friends. So I started a group called No Drama Mamas, so that we could get together, and they understood, just inherent in the name, we don't talk about people here. We're never going to leave this space in this place, whether we're painting mugs or whatever we're doing, with heaviness in our heart. There will be lightness and a sense of connection and community. And so I love that you walked away from that one, because it didn't serve them. Probably isn't serving them either, but they don't know that yet.
I love that you started that women's group as creating a safe container for women to come together, talk about real life stuff, be moms. They can be vulnerable in this space because the expectation has already been set. We're not going to do drama. You're not going to go and tell somebody else my story without my permission, or, understanding my struggle in a different kind of way. It's a very caring place to be able to create that safe container for women to express who they are, and really hold each other accountable and hold each other up, right?
Yeah. And when you mentioned in that group as well, I think this could be relevant to people. When negativity starts, it can be really addictive, and someone, it's so easy to jump on the bandwagon, whether it's complaining or making excuses or finger pointing or gossip or all these other things. But to be brave and interrupt that, not by making people wrong, but by being the light, it will attract some people. Not everyone, we're not all on the same journey, but the people that are ready for the light and the love and the heart and the positivity will come. In that No Drama Mamas, it was an evening where we all went out, and it was exactly the environment that you said too. We're coming to share and be who we are, and everyone knew sort of the rules of engagement, which is a place to be positive and real. And I have a value around inclusiveness, so I invited someone for the first time, and that was not her MO. And she was at the end of the table, and she started talking about people and tons of negative energy and complaining about the school and the kids and this other kid at school and whatever. And I watched everyone's chairs shift away from her. They weren't mean, but it was like, I don't want that. It was like they went from, not to sound woo-woo, but like from darkness to light. And so she self-corrected her own behavior without anyone saying a word. And so I think we can be a gift to one another to interrupt the negativity as well without making anybody wrong. It's easier to complain, but change happens when we start to, when we go the other way.
When we listen to understand, right? Instead of complain, right?
Yes. Yeah.
When we talk, one thing that keeps coming back up for me is this back to school thing. And there's always issues around back to school and what teachers are doing what and how the school is handling things. And as long as you remember, for me, it's I follow the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word, don't make assumptions, always do your best, and don't take things personally. So as long as I'm looking at things through that lens, it's a lot easier to stay in the positive light, because it's listening to understand. It's a different skill than just listening to respond.
Can you say the 4 of those again? I live by this as well. I reread that.
Oh, the 4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. Always do your best. Don't make assumptions. And
be impeccable with your word.
Be impeccable with your word. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I add a 5th for women?
Sure.
I'll just say 4 agreement we can make with ourselves is to practice self-compassion. We are so hard on ourselves. I don't know where the brief that came from that said we need to be perfect. Wrap that up. You mentioned the pandemic. I did a lot of free trainings for working moms at the time, because we were trying to keep the same standard that we had before during sheer and utter chaos. I said, how a parent now, I have a drawer full of candy, and when my daughter creeps in behind me and I'm trying to get work done because I also need to bring some income in, I say, go to the drawer and eat the candy. Would I have done that before? No, my standard's different now. Let yourself, right? And also ask for help. But the self-compassion piece is just have a mad love affair with yourself.
Yeah.
If the voice in your head is saying you're garbage or you didn't do it well enough, right? You can just, if you turn the volume down, guess who's in charge? You are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do that, can you at least make yourself the promise that says, I'm going to spend an equal amount of time reflecting on what I did well today,
Mm-hmm.
my worth, my contribution.
Mm-hmm.
It is so silly, but I went to a training recently, and the receptionist, we just had this like thing, this vibe. And she said, what is it about you? And I said, I just practice self-love, self-compassion. And I said, in fact, my mom taught us this song when we were little. We have 4 girls in our family. And it was about loving yourself. And it was so silly. And she said, will you sing it for me? And I said, sure, after I train, I'll come back at a break. And we started talking about the Miley Cyrus song of like, I can bring myself flowers. But it is that, bring yourself flowers. Take a picture of yourself when you were 3 or 4 or 5. Put it on the vanity, the mirror, somewhere you see at least once a day, and fall in love with that child, because you are taller, but you still deserve all of the love that people gave to you when you were young. You just got taller. So I think it's an agreement we can make with ourselves. You are enough. Stop with the more. You are enough, and you're perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, you're enough. So
You're enough. You're perfect.
so I
just
had
as
this
you are.
agreement today. You and I are rewriting the book.
I love Don Miguel Ruiz's teachings and his books and things like that. And we're actually just finishing up The Voice of Knowledge in our weekly reading. So I just, every time I read or reread his works, it just inspires me even more. So if you have not gone and gotten yourself a copy of the 4 Agreements, I highly recommend it. Still trying to get my husband to read it. But you know, he's working on it right now. He's reading some meditations on Stoicism by, and I forget the author right now.
Aurelius. No, it's a good one too.
Yeah,
though, but
Marcus Aurelius. Yeah. So he's working on it. And
just a little coaching tip, and you know this because I'm hearing you using coach language, but is to say 4 agreements sometimes sounds like a lot. I'm so curious to hear what you think of the first one. So you break it down into micro steps. Just say, I'm so curious to hear what you think of the first one. And then of course, when you do the first one, you want 2, 3, and 4. Makes you hungry for more.
Yeah. And it's interesting how your perspective and how you talk about things shift when you're following the right, which is super, super cool. But what is also really, really cool about how you're talking and how you coach people and women is from this place of uplifting and joy and love, and not from, you know, those icky places that we don't like anyway, guilt, shame, blame, things like that, because we do enough of that to ourselves. And we don't need to do that to each other. Sorry, they bark at bunnies. I have wild bunnies all over.
Oh, wonderful.
It's just been such a joy and a pleasure just spending time with you today, Maureen. I fully appreciate everything you are doing. Can you take a minute and share a little bit more about your business and how people might be able to get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the lead coach and trainer at Strong Training and Coaching, and we have this amazing team of coaches, dear friends, I'll have to call them as well. And we all have had, 20 plus years of leadership experience. We are trainers as well. So when we work with people, we can pull that best tool and practice off the shelf and accelerate the growth and change even faster. And we all, so everything we do at Strong Training and Coaching, so I'm so happy to meet you today, comes from love. And I know you come from the heart as well. And so what would leadership look like if it came from that place, a place of compassion, a place of empathy? And so that is the good work that we all get to do every day as coaches and trainers and speakers. And we love the opportunity to do more of this good work. So if any of that is of interest, of course, we would be thrilled for you to reach out. Strong Training and Coaching. And I will just say that I'm so glad we had this time together today. And I know, Charlie, you and I hold all these wonderful leaders and women in our hearts. as they practice that compassion and their agreements with themselves and their choice, because that's all it is, to live and work and love on purpose instead of by accident, so that the good stuff can come in.
So good. So good. Again, Maureen, you are amazing. I hope to see you again soon. And welcome to the table. Thank you for pulling up a seat. And thank you, listeners, for pulling up a seat at the table where everybody has a place at the table. Thank you. And we will see you next time. Namaste.
My pleasure, Charlie. Have a great day. Namaste.
Bye.
As entrepreneurs, we have a unique opportunity to make a positive impact in the world around us. In a time when the world is shifting towards supporting local businesses and embracing community-driven initiatives, it becomes even more important for us to give where our heart leads us. At the table, we believe in the power of giving back, and that's why we have our cause of the quarter. This quarter, we are proud to support Perfect Pals, a local organization dedicated to rescuing and providing care for stray cats in our community. By supporting local causes like Perfect Pals, we not only make a difference in the lives of those in need, but we also contribute to the growth and well-being of our local community. We believe in small acts of kindness, and they can create a ripple effect of positivity, inspiring others to do the same. As we shift our focus solely from supporting large corporations to championing local businesses and giving back, we not only strengthen our community, but we also foster a sense of connection and unity. Together, we can create a thriving ecosystem where everyone can flourish. So let's follow our hearts and give where it truly matters. Join in supporting Perfect Pals and making a difference in the lives of these furry companions. Together we can make our community a better place, one act of kindness at a time. Thank you for being part of our journey and for embracing the spirit of giving. Together, let's create a brighter future for all. Are you tired of juggling endless tasks, struggling to find time for what truly matters? We have the solution for you. Introducing Free Time Solutions, your ultimate partner in reclaiming your time and maximizing your potential. At Free Time Solutions, we specialize in helping businesses like yours thrive in a digital world. From social media management to website optimization and branding, we have the expertise to elevate your online presence and streamline your operations. Imagine having time to focus on what you love to do while we take care of your business. With our dedicated team of experts and innovative solutions, we leave you free to pursue your passions and achieve your goals. Whether you are a small business owner, entrepreneur, freelancer, we offer comprehensive services tailored to your needs. Our goal is simple: to give you back time, freedom to do what you do best while we handle the rest. So join us at the table and let Free Time Solution empower you to take control of your time and unlock your full potential. Visit our website at www.yourfreetimeback.com. That's www.yourfreetimeback.com to learn more and schedule your consultation today. Free Time Solutions, your partner in success. Let's make the most of your free time together. Thank you for joining us at the table. Stay tuned for weekly readings on Sunday, Mindset Monday, discussing our weekly readings on Monday, and on Friday, our interview and potentially guest hosts. Stay tuned.
Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.